I'm sitting here today with the mayor of Akron, Iowa, and I'm really excited, Sharon, that you're spending some time with me, Sharon Frerichs, and this was one of the first communities I came to do an embedded community experience.
We were in South Sioux, and Deb was there as one of their primary presenters that day. And as she was presenting her information, I knew this was somebody I wanted to bond with.
So why me? What about that presentation you heard made you decide I should come to Akron?
Well, I had just been recently elected mayor, and things were pretty slow in our community, and it was kind of, same old, same old. And I thought, boy, we need her enthusiasm and energy. And so that's what sparked me the most. And as a result of her visit, we had one of our ideas, plant your flags, and we probably had 30 people in the back of the bank. They got into little groups, and so many things materialized from that. That very night, a couple of younger people decided they wanted to have a cruise the loop. So I thought, oh, you'll never get this organized in 5 days. But I was wrong, and it was absolutely a riot. They got out of their cars, or they had signs on the street, honk your horn, or Chinese or Japanese fire drill, Chinese fire drill. And people brought campers full of kids, pickups full of kids in their back of their vehicles, and people honked at each other and talked to each other and just drove up and down the streets. One of our community people had free root beer floats, and then as we've done that after that, the bowling alley one night had $2 hamburgers. The Pizza Ranch came to the curb and sold $1 pizza slices, and so it has really taken off. And so a couple Friday nights ago, the first Friday night of the season, we did it again, and Main Street or the main business district was just jam-packed full of vehicles.
So there are some people, not like you and me, that don't know what cruise the loop means, and it's literally just driving your car around, usually after a football game, and not just kids, but adults too.
Right.
And it's a chance for everybody to just see each other.
And they get their convertibles out if they're older, or load up the back of their pickups with their classmates of their children, and it is just phenomenal.
So 2 years ago I was here. I know you have a long list, but first let's talk about how attitude made such a big difference.
Okay, the one that I can really speak for is my attitude. I've lived here all my life. I was gone for 3 years to go to college, came back to Akron to be a teacher, and so I've known a lot of these kids and their families for lots of years. And I think we were just kind of status quo. And of course, you always have your university of negativity, and that's pretty tough to change. But we tried, and Deb went to some of those locations, trying to tell them, what do you want to see? What do you want in Akron, Iowa? And those people never had a lot to say. But at the Plant Your Flag, so many people came up with so many ideas. And as mayor of the town, I realized you can't just sit back and expect things to happen. They don't just happen. You've got to be instrumental, and you've got to get some things working. But it's not by yourself. We have a fantastic city hall here. I have lots of friends that are in different organizations and different committees around town. And I think we all had our eyes and attitudes lifted. And since then, we've had lots of phenomenal things happen.
Lots of great things. I'm glad that you pointed out that you as mayor don't do all the work.
Right, and it's impossible.
It's impossible, correct. And all the ideas are at least worth trying.
Right.
And anybody can be involved with it.
Right.
It can be anybody in the community. Okay, let's see that big list you have. Read them down. She's got a ton of things that happened in the last 2 years.
Okay, first of all, we'll talk about some of the events. We've talked about Cruise the Loop. Every year for probably the last 15 years, we've had a Scarecrow Festival in the park in the fall, which keeps growing and growing. The chamber decided to start having a pumpkin painting contest, so they close off a street And it's just amazing. I think last year they had 200 pumpkins that were donated to them. And then they were put on Reed Street, which is our business district, for a week. And then the kids could come pick them up after that. We always celebrate Small Town in November. And then another event that came from the Plant Your Flags is a hometown Christmas. Somebody said, maybe we should sell Christmas trees, decorated Christmas trees. And somebody said, oh, our city hall is not big enough for that. We didn't know where we would do that. So we have wreaths for a reason. People decorate wreaths on all the walls in this building, and the windows and the doors are full of wreaths, and the people come in and they have a silent bid on the wreaths and some other things that people have done. But as far as our business community has also grown. We have probably the biggest adventure, and that's our Lazy H campgrounds that opened in June of 2018. And it's very difficult to reserve camping or cabins. And now they're currently building at least 50 camper pads, so those that have their campers can reserve a spot and come there.
And the reason it's difficult to get a cabin is because they're all full all
they're
summer
full.
long.
Yep,
and there's
they
a
are
little
full.
lake in the middle, and there's campers and trails and swimming, and oh my God, it's fabulous.
For a community our size, that has been a real plus. It is really drawing people to our community. And then, of course, your business district profits, because they always forget something. You don't go camping and bring everything with you.
No, you don't.
And then we were given the old trailer court that's been completely leveled, but electricity and sewer and water is still out there. So we have a couple that have bought 2 lots there, and they're going to build a couple of condos out there that are already sold, I think, as soon as they're done. We have had many new houses built in Portlandville Heights, and there have been several people in the ADC that have built spec homes.
And ADC is Akron Development
Corporation.
Okay.
That's right, Akron Development Corporation. And most of them have been sold before they're even finished, and the advantage is then people can go in and put the finishing touches on that they want. But currently we have 2 that are being built, and possibly another 2 more coming yet this year. We have a new corner bar, the bar Bottles and Throttles. That was empty when you were first here.
Bottles and Throttles, okay.
Yep, or Throttle and Bottles. And then next door was an old abandoned auto supply store that was very decrepit and had been red tagged. And we've torn that out and deciding what we're going to do with that empty lot. Basically, that's the only empty lot we have in our business district. And so we have expanded a little bit to the industrial building, or the industrial area. And people are very willing and on a wait list to get into certain buildings in Akron when they open up. So that's exciting.
And that empty building is kind of cool because there is the front frame of the building itself, but the lot is empty. There's so much you can do with that, from showing movies to putting tables and chairs in there to playing chess. Whatever you come up with would be perfect.
And then to put some artwork on the walls there would be very unique too. We have a few of those in town that have been painted, but that's always another possibility.
That's right.
Okay, then we have a brand new Impact Physical Therapy and Wellness Center that opened. The grand opening was just September 15th. And that's a family who has several businesses in town, and they just keep expanding, so we're always thankful for that. And when you were here, the Akron Gold and Silver was here, but they have expanded to an auction house, and now they bought an old dilapidated drive-in from that had been empty for at least 10 years, and they're going to remodel that inside and out. They've already put a new roof on, and they're going to rent that as office space.
Lovely. Used to be the Dairy Queen, right?
Yes, yes, back in the days. Our Thorson Drug is, as the name implies, a drugstore. They have added a little flower shop in there. They've always had a lot of home decorator items, and now they have added clothing. So they are meeting the needs of the people of all ages. The older ones that need prescriptions, the younger ones that want clothing. And so there's a large variety of gifts that are available to give
It's one of my
when you need-
favorite stores in town.
I know it is. Let's see. Another bar was gutted, and a local family had a photo studio out of town, and she decided half of her customers were driving to Lamar's, so she thought, I just as well stay in Akron. And I showed you the building on our tour this morning, and it is just a delightful,
It is indeed.
beautiful.
Couldn't even tell there was a bar there before.
No.
They did a
It's very
fabulous job.
inviting. Our bowling alley was closed for over a year. It's now open again, and they've expanded to the empty lot next to them. And I was telling you earlier, they even have hatchet throwing, and they've got cement pads in the back and a place that you could eat or drink in the enclosed garden. So
Hatchet throwing is really growing in the
It is.
Midwest. Have you noticed that?
yes.
I'm going to have to try it.
Then we have CVA, which is our local elevator, and they have added warehouses, they've added bins, and now they're putting in a new scale down there, and I think they've added a few new employees too, which is always good.
Excellent.
When the old state shed was ready to be torn down, Liquid Carriers went in and bought their maintenance shed, moved it to another portion of town, updated that. So now he has a beautiful place to store his trucks and keep his diesel trucks warm in the winter. So that has been really exciting.
That's great.
We have a new beauty shop. One of the things that we did is we rented some of our rooms from the old care center to businesses, and then some of those people came up with the idea of changing the name from the old care center to the South Street Plaza, because it is on South Street, otherwise known as Highway 3.
So what are some of the businesses that are in there right now?
Right now, some of the businesses that are in there is a computer repair shop, a Twin Flames fitness and massage, a lady who sells antiques, and she redoes furniture for people. We have the Old Geezers Coffee Club in there. We have the Old Geezers Workshop. We have a lady who does waxing in there. And so we have looked at different possibilities in moving things to the upstairs, but at this point we have not yet.
That's all right. I love that you started with just a couple of things and you just keep growing.
Right.
Instead of waiting until you can fill the entire
Right.
building. That's shared spaces at its best.
Right.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Well, we tried, and we got so many of these ideas from you.
Well, thank
And
you.
it's always good to get positive reinforcement. The
Yeah, let's talk about this one.
our plan was in August of 2019 to tear down our own old swimming pool and put a new one in that would be open for the all-class reunion June of 2020.
How much money did you have to raise for that?
Well, we're looking at possibly 2.5 million.
Okay, and I just want to add, I was told today, Dan told me today that they were putting this summer 20,000 gallons a day into the old pool.
Every day.
Yeah, that's just craziness.
Yeah, that's a bad leak. And our pool looks okay from the outside, but it was built when I was in kindergarten, so you know it's
Just
pretty
a few
old.
years ago.
Yeah.
So where are you at on that 2.5 million?
Right now, we're at about 600,000, and our capital campaign is going to take off now real soon. And we've been working on that, and we have come up with different entities in the pool that if you want to give $5,000 and buy the new chairs for the lifeguards. And then if you decide you are going to buy all 3 chairs, we're going to put a little plaque on them to show that, you know, Deb Brown gave us the money to do that. And then we have also earmarked some of the bigger projects, like $100,000 projects. And so if some family or corporation gives us that money, then they will have naming rights.
So I want to talk a little bit about the 600,000 because I know that you raised it with kids saving pennies and turning it in and having lemonade stands, all these tiny, tiny small steps that you've been working on for the last year and a half to create this income. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
And lots of small steps. So bravo, congratulations on that.
And one activity that came up was one of our local people said, hey, I've got a challenge for you. If you can raise $10,000 in a month, I will match $10,000 to your goal. Well, we hit it, and so basically that little project was $20,000 right up front.
That's what you want to hear.
Yep, that's what we like.
Talk about this one too, because that's great.
Okay, let's see. Probably about, let's see, I'm trying to figure out when that would have been. Probably about 3-4 years ago, we lost all 3 of our medical doctors, which was really what we thought tragic. However, they have been replaced with a doctor and 2 physician's assistants, and I am happy to report that they have probably regained half of the patients that followed their original doctors, because all 3 went to other communities. So sometimes, excuse the expression, but sometimes new blood is good.
That's so true.
Then I have a friend, well, lots of friends who are realtors in Akron, and one of them told me one time, Sharon, I have so many people that want to move to Akron, but we don't have housing available for them. And I told you at noon that, a lot of times the sign goes up on Friday and by Monday it's sell pending, and houses are selling very, very rapidly, as well as our spec homes. And so that is a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have.
And so we have gotten a lot of new families in town since 2017.
Where's that number? Because that is really important. I know how many new kids in school.
Okay, I don't know if you want all of these, but Dan gave me the information from school this morning. In 2014, we had 600 students. In 15, we had 617. In 2016, we had 620. In 2017, we had 654. In 2018, we had 662, so that's an increase of 62 students right there. And right now, the final count hasn't been made, so we don't know what we're up to for this school year. We'll know that in October.
That's 62 students, and
right,
in
we're
5
not
years,
a shrinking community.
You are not a shrinking community, and your school is growing.
Right.
That's good news as well. It's crazy how much of a good news that is. And we're going to look at one more thing. Oh, there it was. 25 new families to town since
January 1st of 2019.
In the last 9 months, you've got 25 new families in town.
And some of those have built new houses, some have bought old houses or older houses. We did not count the people that converted their electric bill from one part of Akron, they built a new house. We didn't count them because they were already here. They had utility bills before that.
So this is 25 new, according to the utility bills that they've set up.
Yep.
We have list of stuff that we could talk about, but I think you've hit upon the most important ones, right?
I hope so.
And it starts with changing your attitude.
Right.
It's pretty simple, right? It
And all we
pretty
need is a
simple.
commitment from somebody to do something and get people to help them do it. Forget about the meeting and a chairman and go on that route.
I love that. For no meetings. We hate those meetings,
Right.
so just go do it.
Right, just go do it. And that's what I needed to hear, because I was one of those that thought, well, somebody will do it. Well, somebody doesn't always do it. But
It's got to be me. If it's to be, it's got to be me, right?
Right.
So I'm Deb Brown with SaveYour.Town, and it's been my pleasure to visit with Sharon Frerichs from Akron, Iowa. Thank you, Sharon.
And thank you for coming again. Thank you, thank you, thank you.